It's another beautiful day right here on Oweleketv. And of course, it is that time that a lot of people long for, and it is the time for Outnumbered. Outnumbered is that moment where we bring you to speed with the headlines for the day and also the big story. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and as usual, I have Rachel Abioye. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Ramsey.
Good morning, Michael Edika.
Good morning, Ramsey. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Michael.
All right, viewers, let's take you straight to the first headline that we have for the day, and that is the nation's newspaper. From the nation's newspaper, it's no longer news that the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs was suspended yesterday. And the first story here has to do with her, where it says Betta Edu faces EFCC grilling. And the details of that you can get on page 4 of the nation's newspaper. And the second story from the nation's newspaper says NERC takes over discourse over poor performance. The details you can also get on page 5 of the nation's newspaper. Another story still coming from the nation's newspaper says, and it's going to be my third story, it's about another prison again by EFCC. Of course, Sadiya is not left out in the prison. And 37 billion naira EFCC quizzes ex-minister. And you can get the details of that on page 4 of the nation's newspaper. Let's get to the next paper where we still want to bring you to speed with some other headlines.
Okay, good morning once again, viewers. On the Punch newspaper, this morning we have just one big story. What we have on most papers this morning is a birthday salutation of Mela Kyari. So the big story here, which happens to be the only story on the Punch newspaper this morning, says Tinubu orders 2 trillion naira poverty relief funds probe. Edu faces EFCC today. Under that story, says security aides stop Betta Edu from meeting President Tinubu. Buhari Minister grilled for 12 hours. You can find that on page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
Well, the full page been bought out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from the Daily Trust newspaper, we are still having a Tompolo romancing with the NNPC chairman. Tomorrow, we don't want to hear people of Ijo are fighting NNPC as they are telling you, no, don't come. But this time, we've seen the Tompolo saying, happy birthday, my brother and friend. So we want to see that this will be lasting. We don't want tomorrow, say the Ijo people are saying this and that and that. Well,
I'm very sure nothing is exchanging hands. It's just a wish.
We can't tell.
Are you sure it's just a wish?
I can't tell.
That's a big story still on the Daily Trust newspaper. And of course, another story which I'll be taking before handing over to Ramsey now is that bandits return to Kaduna Abuja highway, abduct 30, block roads for 45 minutes. It's sad. Of course, we wish that this will be addressed immediately for the lives of citizens of Kaduna and, of course, the indigents of the Federal Capital Territory. That's much on the Daily Trust newspaper. Ask vendors so they can get more of the details.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. So amazing that for 45 minutes, operation was going on and there was no intervention by the security agencies. Well, that is the kind of nation that we find ourselves. More coming from the dailies today. Let's quickly take you to the Daily Sun newspaper where we have this big story saying suspended minister Betta Edu whisked away in security truck. And 3 riders to that story. The first rider says denied access to Tinubu as a rock tag withdrawn. Then another one says that President directs Finance Minister to conduct diagnostic investigation. Diagnostic investigation. Instruction coming to the Finance Minister by the President. And we have this one which also says it's a rider. EFCC begins grilling. And that's going to be starting today. And another major headline again from the Sun newspaper says the federal government wrecking Nigeria's economy with huge debt. I feel like taking that headlines once again. A federal government wrecking Nigeria's economy with huge debt. And you know who this is coming from? This is coming from His Excellency. All right, Peter Obi, the man who is always talking positive about Nigeria. I don't know, he's always not keeping quiet when things are going wrong. And that is when you get to know who actually have Nigeria at heart. And just one rider to that story brands Tinubu's government epitome of profligacy. Profligacy. That is wastefulness and recklessness. That's what profligacy means. And of course, finally from the Daily Sun newspaper this morning, Ndume begs Tinubu to dismantle alleged political cartel, meaning we have some cartel somewhere. All right, as a matter of fact, that's going to be the size of the newspaper headlines for this morning, and we will bring you the big story straight out because we can't wait to add our voice to that conversation because it is coming from someone that has integrity. When we return, we'll bring to you the big story, and it will still be Ramsey, Rachel, and Michael. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleket.tv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Well, it is so exciting that you are still there. And we promise that we'll bring you the big story when we return. Once again, welcome back. And now the big story. Of course, I was thinking when I first saw this big story, what came to my mind is when a ship wrecks, what happens? When a ship sinks into the water, what happens to the people? A lot of wastage. Lives will be lost. Properties will be lost. Resources will be lost. What do you think will happen if Nigeria wrecks? What do you think will happen if the economy of the nation is being wrecked by a particular set of people? Well, let me bring to you the big story that we have for today. I already mentioned it, and it's coming from Peter Obi. You already know who Peter Obi is. He is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the just concluded 2023 election. Even though a lot of people clamor for him to come to the seat, one or two things happen and he's not there. And despite the fact that he is not now the president of the country, he has chosen not to be quiet about things that are not going on rightly in the nation. And this morning, he came up to say, well, the federal government, all right, wrecking Nigeria's economy with huge debt. You remember what happened? I think just a few months before the past administration was leaving office, some trillion, all right, was borrowed, was approved and borrowed. Then, on assuming office again, more approval was given, and these approvals are coming in trillions, all right? Another borrowing was being done. But the amazing part of the whole story is the fact that the economy is in a dwindling state. The economy is crumbling and people are quiet. This money that has been borrowed, what has it been used for? We know that people borrow for capital projects. But then these projects we are not seeing. I don't know. I think I will need my colleague in the studio to add their voice to this conversation, because some persons may feel, well, Peter Obi is just talking, probably because he has made a statement that Labour Party is going to be the strongest opposition party that will face the ruling party at this point in time. Some people may think maybe because they have decided to be an opposition, he has refused to be quiet about certain things happening in the nation. But then, what do you think about that? Let me get to Michael Edikan. Peter Obi is someone you know. It's not an identity that is hidden at all. Looking at, give this statement a holistic approach. Let's get your view concerning what he has said.
Yeah, we've witnessed President Bola Tinubu, of course, coming into office with a lot of borrowing. Of course, on the 30th of December, as the National Assembly were about even passing, the budget into law, they also approved another borrowing. As we speak now, over 5 countries that we're indebted to, over more than 5 countries as we speak to you. Now, the question that Peter is, of course, his ground has always stand, even when he was campaigning. We cannot in any way borrow to consume. We need to actually borrow to produce. And as you rightly said, the capital project. Federal government has not come out to tell Nigerians, these are the capital projects. Nigerians have not seen the capital project. Oh, okay, we can say, okay, in the next 1 or 2 years, this thing will actually produce, and of course, we'll get to offset our debts. So the problem is not just the issue of transparency, the insensitivity of the government to understand that it is not right to borrow to consume. What are they borrowing for? You've seen the billions that are flying around. You've seen the cars that they have to buy for the senators. You've seen this, you've seen that, and all of that. These are just mere things that are actually not just helping to our economy. So at the moment, your government should understand that it is wrong, it is insensitive, it is inhuman, it is reducing our country to a mockery in the international system when we are owing countries that even the resources that we have, we can actually compete with this country is the problem. And if these are not well dealt with, if these are not corrected, as you said, wrecking the economy being wrecked is just an understatement.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's get to Rachel. I still want to draw your attention to this statement once again, because when someone said an economy is being wrecked, it means a whole lot. Before this administration came into office, okay, the economy was in a deteriorating state, and they came into office, and instead of trying to rebuild and bring the country out of where they are, more borrowing is happening. What would you have to say about this government? Because some persons will say, well, they are insensitive to the plight of the people. Some persons may want to say, well, they need to do that because of what is on ground, and for some reasons, because people come in with different opinions and different ideologies. What is your own take as far as this statement is concerned?
Okay, so Ramsey asked the question, there might be borrowing because of what is on ground. So I want to ask, what exactly is on ground?
A dwindling economy, of course.
Okay, who pushed us into this dwindling economy that we are in right now?
If you ask me, I may say APC.
The same government, exactly. Now, we're going to borrow. And like Michael said, on 30th of December last year, Tinubu went to National Assembly, to request for the approval of 7.3 billion naira.
And they urgently approved.
Trillion naira, yes, and it was approved.
Urgently.
Now, we're talking about all of these persons in EFCC today. Now, we have 44.8 billion naira recovered from Halima Shehu recently. We have Betta Edu, 43 million naira or 83 million. It's 5 million naira. We have Betta Edu. We have so many. We have CBN governor who went to put money in different accounts. Now you're asking, all of this money they are put, where is the money coming from? Where did I get this money from? Now we go to borrow. We borrow trillions of naira. We borrow huge amount of money. And then we start hearing, it just looks like they're borrowing and they are sharing this money, between themselves. Because where they get these billions of naira from, you're wondering, how will a woman, Betta Edu, she was a commissioner of health in Cross River State, and then she came into Tinubu's government just recently, how many months ago? And she's a young woman. And then the next thing we're hearing is that she stole millions of naira. And then you begin to ask, where are they getting this money from? Is it the one that was allocated to their ministry? Is it the one in the budget? Okay, this is the one we are giving to the ministry. Is that the money they stole? No. Where is the money coming from? These are all the questions we should be asking. Now, you keep borrowing and you keep borrowing. What have you used this money to do? You say you need it for, okay, you come up every year with a budget for the year. This one is for hospital. This one is for road. This one is for that. The same road that bandits are going to stay for hours. And no security agency.
45 minutes.
Yes, no government agency. Look at recently, a group of singers who went to Kogi State to perform. They were coming back and they kidnapped them, and they were there for days. They requested for money. When I was listening to the interview, when these guys were explaining the whole thing, you'd be wondering, is that we don't have security agencies in Nigeria again? Because of the way they were explaining this whole thing, is something that if our government, if they want to pick up these people, they can. We'll talk about NIN, we'll talk about BVN, talk about all of these things just to track up all those persons. It amounts to nothing. And then every day you come out to say you're borrowing this amount of money. And then the next thing we hear is EFCC grilling this person, EFCC grilling. Okay, now you recovered the money that they collected from this person, the money recovered. Where is this money going into? You keep borrowing. It's not that our economy is going to be wrecked. It's already wrecked. We're already in a mess. Well, in fact, Nigeria is just, that's why you see this jackpot. If you can jackpot, I better jackpot. It's just as if we're inside a boat that is about sinking. That's just about sinking. That's already, we're inside deep waters already. So if you can run, if you know you can swim out. Oh, if you know it is fly, you can fly. You better fly. If it is run, you better run, because our economy is gone.
Over 200 million people cannot run.
I wish you can actually run.
But we can't run. If we run from this nation, which other country will absorb? Look at what is happening at the United Arab Emirates. Look at what is happening in UK. Look at what is happening in USA before you even get the visa.
And why? It's because of Nigerians.
And
because of Nigerians.
That's it. Anything that has to do with Nigerians in the wider world is something else. The story is different. Well, the question is this: what have they done with this money that's been borrowed? I think a responsible government should be able to answer this simple question. A responsible government should come out and defend this statement coming from the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, talking of Peter Obi. Let's don't get more wrecked than we are right now. Nigeria is bleeding. Thank you very much for being part of Outnumbered today. If we want to talk about things happening in this nation, time will fail us. But then we've been able to add our voice to the conversation, and you can also do the same by getting to the comment section. Drop your comment, drop your reactions, and we will also act on it. It's another wonderful time again, and we will have more and more and more on this platform. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and this is Rachel Abiye and Michael Edikan. Have a wonderful day, and we will come on your way again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.